left onto Ogle Avenue. Go past the stop sign, then at the next one, turn left. At the stop sign, turn left onto Ogle Avenue. At the next light, turn right. At the light, turn right onto West Martin Mill Pike, then turn left onto West Young High Pike. At the light, turn left onto West Young High Pike. At the next light, turn right. At the light, turn right onto Chapman Highway. Starting route to home. Head northeast on West Young High Pike. At the next stop sign, turn left. At the light, turn left onto Woodlawn Pike. Stay in the middle 2 lanes. In 3.9 miles, take a slight right turn onto West Norton Road.
Bank composers are worshiping China and kowtowing and bowing to their new leader and owner, Xi Jinping. It was almost like an inspector came to America over the last couple of days to check on his investment, you know, just like King George would, you know, kind of check on his peons, make sure they're minding their own business since you're taking over the ship. And so we saw that. We saw there's a meeting, and all this is shifting into Asia. I've known this for decades now. That's why I've even positioned myself at the pivot and shift to Asia, because I saw this 20 years ago. But at the Asian Pacific Conference, APEC, they basically show right hard-hitting and in your face who the cabal is. And I won't list the names of the companies just because I'm online right now, but you can look them up. And you'll see all the major corporations that are there. And all the major corporations that have essentially sold you out directly to the Chinese. Because this is a Chinese takeover, it is a world order hegemonic transition into tyranny. And one individual, which I've talked about, is Bridgewater and Associates and Ray Dalio, who of course has been talking about America's collapse, demise, social construct collapse for years. And I've studied him very intently because he is a figure to pay attention to. Doesn't mean I agree necessarily with the thesis of, you know, the collapse of America, because I want to protect America. But these globalists always tell you where they're going to take you peons into the future. So you want to pay attention to what they say. Case in point, Ray Dalio has been pivoting to Asia for years, decades himself. I think he spends most of his time over there now. So the elites and the globalist cabal have already embedded themselves with their new supreme dictator and leader, Xi Jinping. We saw this with Elon Musk, shaking Xi Jinping's hand with a giant smile on his face just a couple of days ago, because of course, he's already deeply entrenched and embedded his massive deep state corporations into the China regime, of which he's getting sweetheart deals to build out his gigafactories and implement a mass surveillance tool for the Chinese dictatorship in the form of his Teslas that are operating all over the Chinese city streets. That way Xi Jinping and his massive surveillance state can very easily, programmatically, and Orwellian have complete control of his population. Same thing here in the United States of America. And again, Elon Musk is just another case in point and another example of that. And it's always amazing to me that people think that the richest man on planet Earth isn't a part of the cabal. Yeah, guys, the richest guy on the planet isn't a part of the cabal. Let's talk about that for a minute, because socially, these elites are so powerful. Oh, they're so good at what they do. Honestly, it's a really good case study in mass psychology and propaganda, and just how they've pretty much won and overthrown America on every level so easily, too. Right now, they've engineered a social construct collapse, of which they've pulled the ultimate card. And you know what the card is. It starts with a J, and it's a 3-letter word. They've pulled that one now. So notice the media is now attacking Elon Musk, calling him an anti-Semite. Oh my gosh, IBM's pulling out of advertising. They're creating this whole war. It's all an illusion. Okay, it's an illusion to prop Elon Musk up and the false light up. It's the same thing with Trump. Attack, 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 discriminate, gag, attack. Make him out to be the next Jesus to prop him up. But both of these figures, by the way, will be uniting, okay, into the Antichrist in the future. And it tells you this, literally, like it tells you this in The Economist magazine. They don't use the exact words, but they tell you. So Trump's going to be elected. I think we already know it's now fact. Trump is guaranteed to be elected. So don't even worry about it. It's already going to happen. Okay, but it will only assure the collapse. You do understand this, right? There's many things that I liked about Trump's policies, but during Trump's tenure, he partnered with Fauci, instituted and launched Operation Warp Speed, hung with his Pfizer buddies, made them billions, and then locked you in your house. So just keep that in mind. Even if you believe, well, Trump, he didn't know what was going on, his advisors were lying to him. No, he still did that, and he's done that unapologetically. Also, when Trump was first elected, the whole internet got censored right after. So that was terrible too. There was actually more negatives that happened, I would argue, than positives. So it's not like getting that figure, because the two-party system is an illusion. It's not like Trump isn't in on it. I mean, he hung out with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, and he was on the Epstein Lolita Express himself. Like, he's not a true outsider. He's an outsider regarding politics, but he's a part of the same system. I mean, this is just a fact, guys. Like, it is what it is. So what they're doing in the agenda, because the American people aren't smart enough, you are, but the American people aren't smart enough to figure this out, is they're creating such cultural shock and awe. And now that they've pulled the J card, they can unleash the horrors and the echoes of history in World War II and that terrible guy that starts with an H, and bring that into the full force of the media. Now, this is actually like a very hopeful thing that I want you to think about. Notice how much energy the evil satanic globalists force and push in an attempt to control your attention. Notice how Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and all the social media companies, and this includes TikTok, which is very Chinese focused, all of the everybody, X, all of it, they all want your attention. Why do they work so hard for your attention? Why do they spend trillions of dollars for your attention? Why do they want your attention on Israel right now? Why do they want your attention? Well, it actually tells you that the power that they want comes from your attention. That's actually a strategy there we can talk about in a minute, because if you simply don't give them attention, they lose. For example, if you turned off your cell phones right now, you turned off all forms of media, maybe you just used it for like education, which is my primary focus, and you just threw it in the trash, and all you focused on was yourself, your family, and your local community and building it away from the system, the American people would immediately and instantaneously overthrow these evil cabal of globalists. They wouldn't exist anymore because they wouldn't have your attention in the paradigm. They wouldn't be monetizing you. They wouldn't be surveilling you. Bill Gates even talked about this the other day. He said that with the movement in AI, that Americans are going to have to give up more freedom. It's unfortunate, he said. Of course, they'll protect your privacy. He also, said that, like we really trust them. But they're going to have to give up their sovereignty and their freedom and their rights and all that. And you're going to have to be surveilled, unfortunately, if you want to use AI. Because AI can't learn your needs and your desires and all these things and, help you out without you basically just giving your whole body and soul and, your life to the machine. All of these social constructs, which I've talked about this decades ago, it's not new, but even the I don't know what sex I am movement, that has nothing to do with freedom or giving power to people. It comes from the government, actually, to destroy the people into thinking that somehow they're androgynous beings, okay? And that they can shift into any sex or gender at any moment. Why have they pushed that? It was the same thing with the women's rights movement, and I'll get to that in a moment. They pushed that because the next layer and step to the psychological brainwashing and conditioning of these evil, satanic, I could say more terrible words, is to get you to believe and used to the fact, step by step, through conditioning, that you're androgynous and that you can be anything you want. So it'll be that much easier to plug the Mark of the Beast chip into your head and to integrate you into an anti-human future of total tyranny, and spiritual death. That's why. The women's rights movement was just to get women out of the home and to con them into getting into the working system so that they could use them as slaves, just like the men that they used for slaves, into the system of industrialization, and also tear apart and break apart the nuclear family so that they could deteriorate the moral infrastructure of our society to do the takeover that they've currently done, essentially. Just like I was talking about the Civil War the other day, it wasn't about slavery or the Emancipation Proclamation or freeing blacks, in my opinion. It was about stealing the South's natural resources, land, and power, and also the North wanted the cheap labor. Slavery was terrible, I don't condone that, but they wanted the labor so that they could have new slaves. And so they took all those new slaves and they put them into factories. And after putting them into factories and destroying the South and removing the power from those plantation owners, the new plantation owners, which was the northern politicians, could then put their new slaves to work in an illusion. And in fact, that's when they rolled out the income tax, which is slavery and usury, arguably. In fact, it was the same reason our, quote, founding fathers escaped tyranny and fought King George in the Revolution of the American Revolution of 1776 was over taxes. So don't let your government, sell you these lies. Also, the U.S. government, right after the Civil War, then eradicated all the Native American indigenous populations and just absolutely got rid of all of them through conquering the West, proving there was no inalienable rights or a Constitution or Bill of Rights for certain people that they chose to discriminate against. We saw this with this, right? Which now they're backtracking, so we all won, by the way. You won. Congratulations, we remain victorious. Our steadfastness in not complying has always proved to be the diamond nuts formula, which always wins. In fact, the Army is now sending letters, the military, other forces in America, the armed forces, the Navy, they're sending letters now saying that if they kicked you out, you're welcome to come back now and you don't have to take it. Proving, once again, that we won. And we always do, because we're smarter than these evil, satanic, globalist pieces of crap. And not only do we know what they're going to do next, but we predicted what they're going to do next. November 17th, 2023, and the overthrow of the United States of America. Let's talk about The Economist magazine and their top trends, according to Tom Standage, to watch in 2024, and let's review them very quickly. And again, their main theme is that Trump will become president. Trump is the threat to the global order, and he'll throw everything in awry. Let's talk about that for a minute. So Trump will be elected. You heard it here first. Unless they get rid of him or something, which is possible. He will be elected in 2024, and I believe Donald Trump will negotiate the art of the deal, right? And that negotiation will be with China, which will allow China to accomplish all of its military objectives without firing a single shot, which I told you about yesterday. Trump will use Taiwan as a ploy and as a tool for his negotiation. And China will take control and sovereignty, which they believe they already have over it, and I think they do. Not that I agree with it, but they do, over Taiwan. And he will use that to structure some kind of deal. This is why Xi Jinping, the communist dictator, came to San Francisco over the last few days to, number one, check on his investment, check on the people working for him, and take a look at some of the inventory on the ground. And in addition to that, psychologically prime the American people to think it's a false illusion, false light idea, but that somehow Biden's trying to structure, peace and stability with Xi, and the Democrats are trying to, kind of have a safe new order. Well, they're all in on it. They already sold us out. Versus Trump, who's going to be like the destabilizing force. And they'll beef up that narrative into the selection cycle. But the problem with that, and the unadulterated truth, is that it's actually Trump that's going to negotiate the deal and give China more power, in my view. Trump, when he's elected, will also, because this is confirmed now, he will also protect Israel. He will defend Israel with all the strength and power of the military-industrial complex and create even more of an uproar in the Middle East, which is also a very effective destabilizing force that allows China to win and gain even more power. The Democrats will sell it as Trump's being protectionist, and he'll introduce tariffs and stuff on imports. He wants to take it up to like 10%. But again, all that's a lie and an illusion. The war started by the one party. Republicans and Democrats are no different. They work for the same people. China.
At the next light, turn right.
Have structured destabilizing proxy wars to collapse America by design and intentionally to give China power. And through those coordinated, choreographed, and pre-planned acts will allow all the military objectives to be accomplished step by step very easily without really almost firing any shot or escalating further to introduce the new order, which they always intended. Now, the new order, and just so you understand the design, is that the United States will exist, but I've said this for years, but it's going to be a lower tier power, like top 10, maybe top 20. I don't know. It's going to sink, though. And it will not have the hegemonic authority that it once did. We see this with the currency transition because, of course, China sold about 17% of its U.S. Treasury bonds over the recent period. That's huge, guys. That's another reason why Janet Yellen was like begging her supreme leader, like a lapdog, to give her a treat the other day because she, the dictator, to buy U.S. bonds. Even Ray Dalio is saying this now that the debt is out of control. And for example, we can barely afford the interest expense on the debt, and we have like half or 2/3 of all the taxpayer monies going to the Pentagon and the deep state, which just failed and flunked its audit. It's over. In fact, the last time they had missing funds, there was like trillions of dollars missing. The tragic day of 9/11 happened the immediate next day. So the war's on. Like, we could see aggression in Taiwan even today, because anytime the money goes missing, boom. Also, let's talk about that viral letter that the guy, the 6'4" figure they couldn't find in a sand dune who had dialysis, that the U.S. government actually trained back in the Afghanistan war. The guy, right? Wears a little thing on his head. He had dialysis. Trained by the U.S. Gov in the war in Afghanistan when Russia was there. So they've got this, letter going out now where people are like bringing it to people's attention. And they're like, oh, wow, he was talking about the Palestinian-Israeli war. That's just a psyop, too. It's all a psyop. We know the truth about that fateful day, of course. Just like your government is evil enough to lock you in your house, they are definitely evil enough to do that. And by the way, what's incredible about it, I told you guys this from the get-go, when you stand your ground, you always win. Like, these people don't have any power over you. You just refuse their authority. It's very easy. People are like, well, Christopher, what am I supposed to do? Just say no. Just be like, yeah, I'll take a hard pass on that one. It was that easy. So even with the tyranny coming, that's really all you have to do. And then don't give them your attention and actually build something for yourself, for your communities, etc. Let's go into the top trends, see if I can glean any valuable information here for you. And by the way, this is what also leads to the massive bull market cycle into blockchain, which is why, for those of you in it, you're all going to get exceedingly rich in the coming months and in the coming years. Because again, all roads lead that way. It's why I keep positioning you guys for it, because these events have already happened. Like, most Americans are 10, 15, 20 years behind. I'll be blunt, my intellectual capacity. When they're coming to terms with what I already told them 20 years ago, I'm 20 years further ahead. They've already moved past you. Not you, I know you guys are smart, but like the average person. The average person is just, I even had an individual who didn't believe me when I told them 5 years ago. I'm like, no, these people already won, dude. Like, there's not going to be, like, the resistance, the only chance for it was like years ago. He's like, no, that's not true. I saw him the other day. He's like, yeah, Christopher, you were right about that. I'm like thinking in my head, yeah, like, what am I not right about? Like, I'm pretty much right about everything, like, unfortunately. So here are the trends. They say that there's going to be a lot of voting instability. They call it votorama. Again, this chaos is only a tool for them to control you. All these figures are in on it. Vivek Ramaswamy, in on it. He's just there kind of as a third-party talking point BS artist to tell you the things that you want to hear, as if he's like a part of like the alternative, you know, Joe Rogan theme or something. All in on it. Same thing with RFK Jr. in on it. It's part of the oligarchical JFK family. And we've seen his cards too. Just blanket support for the war that's going on in Israel. Doesn't care about any other lives. I mean, don't let these people continue to disappoint you. It's the same thing with Trump. Oh, he's going to save us. Operation Warp Speed, lockdowns, hanging out with Pfizer, him and Fauci roll it all out together. And he says he did the right thing. No, you didn't, dude. You did the absolute worst evil thing that you could have done to your target population. And you destroyed their lives and only helped to destroy America, quite frankly. So Votorama's point 1. 2 is America's global choice. It just echoes what I told you about Trump. It's all an illusion. 3, it says step up Europe. Europe must step up and provide Ukraine with the military and economic backing needed for a long fight. So let's talk about this, how easy it is to manipulate Americans because they're so stupid. If you look at Google Trends, right after October 7th, that was the fateful day of the tragic event in Israel, Google search terms skyrocketed for the war, and now no one cares. And same thing with Ukraine. No one's talking about Ukraine anymore because Americans are stupid. They literally don't care. And they don't care that people are dying. They just don't. They just go back into their hole and they do what they're told. And once they implement the second lockdown, they'll do what they're told. That's what these people do. They're just dumb. And I encourage you not to be dumb. So no one's talking about Ukraine anymore because, like I told you, the United States, the goal was always to lose that war. The U.S. isn't winning, Europe isn't winning, and Ukraine isn't winning. The American people are losing. And the only reason they've done that is to money launder your taxpayer dollars to Zelensky. This is my opinion, of course, and Ukraine, to bleed America out into more debt, war, and I always told you this, I predicted it. I said they would use Ukraine to launch World War III, that Ukraine was the proxy war. And now that they've accomplished that, they don't need Ukraine anymore. So they'll allow it to continue to be destabilized, and they'll probably allow Putin to take half of it or something, because they don't need that anymore. I mean, they'll still money launder to it, because that's still good business for these oligarchs. But now it's all about Israel. And all of these people are in on it. Yay, Kanye, he's in on it too. Remember, it was Kanye on Alex Jones, he's in on it too, by the way, who first erupted in the anti-Semitic narrative that we had to hear all over the internet where he got canned, right? They've positioned all of these people socially, okay, into the construct to divide America. You divide the masses, you keep them focused, fighting each other, you win. And again, it proves time immemorial how stupid people are. I mean, honestly, if I was the head of global intelligence, I guarantee you I could manipulate the American people to do whatever I told them. I could have all the men installing fake boobs by the end of the week. I guarantee it. I would just tell them if they didn't, they would perish and that they would need it and that it was how they were gonna, I could do anything. I mean, it's that easy. Like, basically, you have a guy, which makes up the intelligence apparatus, who sits up at the top, like, at the yellow brick road. And when you get to the end, there's like a dude there, and he's just spouting messaging to the brainwashed, I want to use a bad word, dumb people, and just gets them to comply and do whatever they tell them to do. And it's worse now, because now with artificial intelligence and the AI weapons and cell phones, which they have always been weapons, and psychological brainwashing and predictive programming and supercomputers running like brain hack simulations that can see 1,000 steps ahead of every chess move. They have more power and control than they ever have before. In fact, they can even place you, like they already do, into your own paradigm as they're surveilling you, and they know every mouse click. They even know the imprints on your phone. I told you this years ago too. Even when you imprint on your phone and don't send, that data goes straight to the NSA. They know everything. They know when you go to the bathroom. They know when you make love to your wife. They're listening to all of your conversations through smart TVs, cell phones, your car. They're getting rid of all autonomy, all sovereignty. You're not even going to be allowed to drive. I've told you this for years. People didn't believe me. They're taking everything over. The latest scam is moving from oil to batteries, which still take oil, and like the charging. That's the latest scam, right? I mean, it's not even a good prep. Like I've told you before, if you're in an emergency, you don't want a self-driving car. It'll drive you right off a cliff. In an emergency, you don't want an electric car you have to charge. You want a gasoline guzzler to get out of harm's way. I mean, you don't want AI intelligence that hates your guts and uses you as a tool to monetize, like the movie The Matrix, and suck your soul from your body to be in control of your sovereignty and safety. That is the worst idea ever. To give your manual, sovereign human rights power to a machine is the most idiotic, dumb, mentally, I won't say the word, thing that you could ever do. Like, you're an idiot and deserve to be driven off the cliff. And a lot of people are saying this now. You're hearing a lot of people, like Gerald Celente is losing his cool. He's 100% right, by the way. But he's losing his cool, and he's saying things like, you all deserve to, he's right about it. I just don't think it's the most Christian thing to say, because all of this has already been designed. Like, we already know we're in a fallen world. We already know that Satan is in charge. We already know that everyone in Washington worships Baal, and they literally sacrifice, are sacrificing to the devil. So it's not like new news, Like, we know that we're not saved until Jesus comes back and kicks all their ass, which I'm really looking forward to. So, the best that we can do is take care of ourselves, save as many lost souls as we can, and then build the inroads of the future while we're waiting for the imminent return. I mean, because I get in arguments with Christians about this all the time, that I get pissed off at all the Christians, I'll just be honest, maybe I shouldn't, that are so complacent. They just put their head in their sand and they don't do anything. It's like, dude, you might be waiting for a while for his return. So, bottom line is, those people, in my opinion, are cowards. Real men actually fight Goliath, right? Real men actually come up with solutions. Like, look at Alex Jones. What is he doing solution-oriented? He just gave you a new video game the other day, which proves the point. He's just useless deep state intelligence assets. It gives you useless entertainment. It doesn't provide for your family. It doesn't help you guys. I mean, he even missed Bitcoin. Max Kaiser, who's also an agent, by the way, from the UK, tried to even give him, 10,000 Bitcoin. He wouldn't even take it. All of this stuff is BS. This is what I'm telling you guys. The whole thing is BS. I'm just telling you the truth so you wake up sooner rather than later and you don't have to figure it out like I already know, later. Don't wait for Trump's imminent re-election, which he's going to be elected, because it's all by design. They can't introduce the Antichrist without him. You do understand this. I always look at it from a biblical lens. Okay, well, how does this unfold? How will the elites get what they want? And this is how I even determined that Biden would get in, because I was talking with family members, and I'm like, okay, well, what will the elites do? Let's think about it from their perspective. They're done with Trump for the moment. They've gotten what they needed from him, which was to destabilize the country. So now they'll throw Biden in to destabilize it even more, and now they'll bring Trump in to basically fulfill the prophecy of not just the mark of the beast, but the introduction of the Antichrist. Unfortunately, this is exactly what we're living through right now. Terrible. Again, like this video. Give me up to 1,000 likes. I'm dropping truth bombs after truth bombs here today. I mean, guys, like, this is probably the most valuable information you can possibly have. They're expecting more Middle East turmoil. I mean, this is how I knew about crypto and Bitcoin and all this stuff too, because I already know all this stuff. War with Iran has already started, so that's a guarantee. Trump will engage Iran. So this is another big thing Trump's going to do during his presidency, because he's already been selected. He's going to go to war with Iran. So that'll be the other big thing that Trump is responsible for, is Iran. So Trump's whole role is to help with the introduction of the Antichrist, bring in the mark of the beast with Elon Musk, who's already developed it with the Neuralink chip, and then to, create chaos in the Middle East, support Israel, and then also engage Iran. So during Trump's tenure, the American people will be focused on those distractions, just like they distracted you with Ukraine, and then they moved it to Israel. It's always, look over here while they're doing this over here. So again, that way everyone on the right and the left can focus on that, right? Even other agents like Ben Shapiro. My name is Ben Shapiro. Candace Owens is disgraceful. She is disgraceful. Well, Candace, if you don't believe you should make any money, you should just leave and quit. My name is Ben Shapiro. I told you to take this right here in your arm, but I was wrong about it because I ain't smart. I don't know. I had to do the voice. Even him. What is that guy doing who's supposedly the conservative limelight? Dividing. All they do is divide. They don't unite. But that's their job. You do understand that, right? Ben Shapiro isn't saving America. He's not going to help conservatism. He's not even going to help Israel. His goal is to...
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the Smoky Mountain back roads here. Came in from South Knoxville here into exit 407 here at Sevierville.
Stop sign. Turn left.
I may try to go live this weekend, maybe with some Christmas lights here at nights or something here. But if I do it, it'll be on a daily Life in the Smokies channel. I do have some new videos popping up here over the weekend here. And I have a lot of shorts that will be popping up over the weekend also too. But we're coming to the end of the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please share the video. And until the next one's here, God bless every one of you. Y'all have a blessed weekend and a safe weekend at that. And if I don't see you guys no more, talk to you guys no more, if you guys don't watch anyway until after Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to y'all. And hope you guys enjoy your families and everybody stays safe and
half a mile,
healthy.
Turn left onto Clear Creek Road.
But until the next time, guys, love y'all. But yeah, don't forget about the Smoky Mountain Light Festivals are going on right now at Dollywood and Smoky Mountain Water Park, and then the River Walk, Skyland Ranch, the Skylift Park up there, Gatlinburg up there, and Akista. I mean, there's just so many different ones, it's hard to remember all of them. And then you got Patriot Park here in Pigeon Forge too. But until the next ones, guys, God bless every one of you. Love you. Over and out.